It is a totem smash kind of day. Welcome to the beta and preview version 1.21.0.22. And I've got some really good news for you today. Minecraft Java Edition has just entered the release candidates. It's only the first one, but this update is expected on Tuesday. Do you know what else is going to be releasing on Tuesday? Minecraft Bedrock Edition version 1.20.80. Put it in your calendars. It's finally happening. Not only are we getting a brand new update, but listen to this week's experimental features. It's to do with gameplay. The features that were previously under experimental toggle update 1.21 have been de-experimentified and are now available during normal gameplay. Anyone who's in beta and preview, you know if you wanted to enjoy any 1.21 feature, you would have to turn on an experimental toggle. It would be the 1.21 toggle. That's now been removed. So does this mean 1.21 is going to be coming a lot sooner than we expected? However, the villager trading rebalance is still behind a experimental toggle. So we're kind of unsure if that's going to be introduced with the 1.21 update. I have a theory behind this. Usually major updates for Minecraft release in June. I think the 1.21 update is going to be releasing a lot earlier than June this year. I think the developers might be announcing a second major update for Minecraft for the end of the year. The developers did say during Minecon last year that they've been working on internal tools to make development process a lot faster. And we have definitely seen that with the 1.21 update. You guys have no idea how painful this was for me. Villager trade rebalancing. The cartographers can now sell trial chamber map when the villager trade rebalancing experimental toggle is enabled. When this was first introduced to the game, I had the experiments on, and I honestly must have traded with over 100 villagers. And it turns out it was a bug. I had to get Poggy to give me a world to download with the brand new villagers because I thought it was just my version. It turns out I just had the experimental toggle enabled. Anyway, good old Larry here. He will now trade me a trial chambers map. It only took me 2 villagers to trade with, and it actually looks like we have one relatively close. This week's features and bug fixes. Updated player profile in Bedrock preview. In the latest Bedrock preview, we enabled the updated player profile page. This feature will only be available on Xbox and PlayStation, with it rolling out to other platforms at a later date. Since I'm on Windows, we do actually have a couple of screenshots. Here is the first one. This is the second one, which is going to be like a stats counter. You can see how long you played for, blocks broken, mobs defeated, and distance traveled. We also have this one, which gives you the ability to compare your stats to somebody else's. We can clearly see who is the Minecraft addict here. Slight change with the decorated pots. Players can no longer acquire infinite loot from decorated pots in trial chambers. We have a bug report. So here is the bug report. We do have a video here. Basically, if you had one of the clay pots from a trial chambers, you broke it, it would actually drop the full item, but also give you the rewards. So you could end up with like infinite gold, iron, and anything else that was available in pots. Graphical changes. The vault and ominous vault textures were fixed due to some inconsistencies. We have a bug report. The reported bug comparing Bedrock and Java, you can see this being Bedrock and this being Java, and they're not the same. Vaults are no longer incorrectly rotated in trial chambers. We have a bug report. I experienced this one with them just facing the incorrect direction. You can see some of these would actually be facing the walls. They fixed oozing, weaving, wind charging, infestation, raid omen, and trial omen particles to use the correct effect and texture. we have a bug report. So this is a parity problem. I experienced this also last week. Basically, if you had the trial omen on, if you had the oozing, you had the wind charging, weaving, or in fact infestation, you didn't actually get the special particles that Java had. This week, we do. So this week, we have them starting with oozing. You should end up with some slime particles. I really like that one. We then have weaving. You end up with like a cobweb effect. I like this one. Looks pretty cool. And then we have wind charging, which I think is like a breeze effect. Yeah, you can kind of see it. You see it a little bit more when you move with this one. We have the next one, which is going to be infestation. And this one kind of gives you silverfish particles. I got to be careful with the bad omen one. We're inside of a village, but you should end up with some kind of crazy particles here. I now have 30 seconds until I need to drink myself a milk bucket. But we also have the trial omen effect. We'll do / effect at P, and we'll do trial omen. And then this one kind of looks like this. So it's very similar to this one, just the colors are slightly different. Blocks. Finally, the stone cutter now fully supports tough bricks and polished tough. We have a bug report. This has been requested for a very, very long time. A lot of these blocks and recipes have been missing. It also says the following blocks can now be combined with a honeycomb to produce their waxed variants. And that's all written inside of here. So these are what I understand as the missing recipes that we never had. It also says down here, _plant block is now split into unique instances, such as sunflower, lilac, tall grass, large fern, rosebush, and peony. That's good for commands. And waxing an upside down copper trapdoor now preserves its state. Gameplay. They said fixed various camera bugs. Camera no longer briefly flashes incorrect animations or perspectives when switching camera presets. We have a bug report. Seemed to be an issue in betas and previews, and I noticed this myself. So this person is just going to switch the direction that they're looking in, and it kind of bugs out a little bit. So just keep an eye on this. You'll see here, kind of instantly changes, and you get like an X-ray effect. They finally fixed it. Camera content error no longer appears when teleported to loaded chunks. When a player dies in a nether portal, they no longer spawn with a shaky screen. Status effect particle colors are no longer blended into one particle color. And it also says up to 8 active visible status effect particles are now rendered separately. So from my understanding, if you had 8 separate effects on, you'd actually be able to tell the difference between each and every single particles. So I want to try this real quick. I'll probably change my perspective here. So this is going to give us tons of different effects all at once. And we can kind of see them. They're no longer going to be overlapping. So that's pretty cool. You can see them all. It kind of changes between them, rather than the latest one you drink being the dominated one. Made potion duration of the wind charge, infested, weaving, and oozing effects match Java edition, which is 3 minutes. Mobs. The bugged mob now shoots with the designed frequency of a once every 3.5 seconds. The breeze now slides during combat. So if we place you down, / game mode S, now have the ability to slide or something? Unless this is actually to happen inside of the vaults, I'm not too sure. But yeah, they do usually slide on the ground. I've actually seen them slide from A to B before. Didn't know it was a bug. One change with realms fixed the game inconsistently advertising free realms trial based on multiple sources. User interface. Let's read the change log. Just a few quality of life changes and bug fixes. This week, we do have some shaders changes. Listen to this. Added a new feature to the deferred technical color grading and tone mapping. This new capability allows resource packs to define their own color post-processing for conveying distinct moods and themes. So if you want to make it really dark and moody, you can do that. Or in fact, really, really bright. New experimental toggle added in video settings menu to remove texture limit and load textures instead of using the pink texture, called remove texture limit. Textures will continue to load until the system exhausts all available graphics memory. Added light pre-exposure to the deferred technical preview. This new feature is enabled by default and cannot be disabled. While this won't result in any immediate visual differences for players, creators now have the freedom to specify sun or atmospheric intensities with values larger than 65,000. Previously, larger values like these would cause visual corruption on certain mobile devices. Now, I don't have my hands on a shaders pack that has been updated with this yet, but this stuff is really, really promising. I know it's quite a technical change, but trust me, this stuff is really, really good. And hopefully this last one will see less crashes on mobile devices. I know a lot of you have been having crash issues, and I really like the theme one because I like more, I don't know, like less super bright shaders, and it's just going to give players more control over that. And technical updates, let's read the changelog. Once again, changes to add-ons and script engine, API. I believe there's also been changes to editor. If you're interested in the technical side, the link is down below. It doesn't seem to be like a very big beta and preview this week. I think the main focus is for the developers to get 1.20.80 out on Tuesday. Unless anything goes drastically wrong between now and Monday, Tuesday is 1.20.80. I'll see you all in the next video.